Why is that stuck in my head? It's a very good question. I don't have answers to. Wow. Alright, well, let's hop into it. 105, 105. Hello, Toast. Hello, Toast and Maddie. Hi, Swishies. Hi, Dark Red. Dope. Okay. Word, it is April Fool's, Maddie. Maybe I still have an April Fool's prank planned. Maybe. Word out, Cyber. A lot of us are. A lot of us are dealing with a lot. The song I just played is called Clover Salad. song's called Jump and Jaybird? Jaybird Jump? Help me out here, Maddie. What's that song called? Hi, visitor. Jaybird Jump. Who knows when my lunch is, Cyber? Oh, Mary's on this one. Thanks, Ramses. That song is called Winter Heart. Visitor is truly a visitor. What is the stream about, says visitor. Wow, what is the stream about? I guess it's about music at its foundation. It's about music. Music is the one thing that's the consistent strand in the stream. I think it's also maybe a community stream, a conversation stream. Pixel Piggy is asking the question that has been asked in the stream before, actually, on if tomato is a fruit, is ketchup a smoothie? No, because ketchup is not made of pureed tomatoes. There is a tomato base in ketchup, sure. Absolutely, there is. But something just having a fruit base does not make it a smoothie, right? That's not exactly how it works. Like if I have cherry syrup that has cherry at the base of it with a lot of other preservatives and things mixed in, that doesn't necessarily make it a smoothie. And so, no, that would not make ketchup a smoothie. It would make ketchup a smoothie if your definition of smoothie was just any liquid that had fruit at the base, which is not necessarily what the definition of a smoothie is. Now, you might say then, what is the definition of a smoothie? Omni. If it's not just any liquid with fruit at the base, what is the definition of a smoothie? People define it as a lot of different things. People define smoothie as a lot of different things. I feel like for a smoothie, since I make smoothies every morning, I've got like yogurt in my smoothie, which I don't feel like is a deciding factor. I have ice in it, which maybe isn't a deciding factor at all, but it is a blend of a lot of different fruit. I would say that taking one fruit and making a base out of it, and then adding salt and vinegar is not necessarily how you make a smoothie. Maybe a juice. Maybe there's a better argument for your ketchup being juice, Pixel Piggy. Maybe, but I don't think there is a very strong one for it being a smoothie. No. Salsa can be a smoothie since the smoothie is usually from more than one ingredient. Ah, yes. That's a way better example. I think that if somebody said a salsa smoothie, that's a stronger argument than ketchup being a smoothie. Ketchup is simply a tomato base with a bunch of vinegar and salt to put in it. But salsa actually is a bunch of pureed fruit. If we're looking at peppers as fruit, yeah, I'm gonna have to lean harder on Cyber's example. I can't remember who that was that would come in the stream, but somebody would come in the stream with a lot of like. Somebody would come in the stream with a lot of those like back of Laffy Taffy rapper level like riddles and questions, like is ramen cereal or is cereal soup and like stuff like that. I think that a lot of those, while fun questions, they'll oversimplify the definition of something in order, kind of for a fun experiment. Oversimplifying something, I think. Like the whole chicken and egg thing. Yes. Cereal's cold soup, says Dark Road. Yeah, see the point then? See the point? See what I'm saying? Did I finish? I didn't finish Levelers. I'm deadpan today. This is funny, actually, for me. Am I always deadpan? I used to like those rappers, and the kids supposedly submit all of those travesties referred to as jokes. Yeah, they're pretty bad, aren't they? I think there's levels, right? There's levels of brain teasers, and I feel like asking is cereal soup is a pretty low level brain teaser, right? I'll eat a bag of Laffy Taffies and have the banana flavored. My coworker and we would laugh at all the for all the wrong reasons. Is this a song, says Dark Road? Yeah. The song's called Love Letters. It came out 3 years ago on an EP called Signals. Yeah, Laffy Taffy's not really good, Maddie. That was an abridged version of Love Letters. Heaven help me. Oh my bad, visitor. Do you like Laffy Taffy? The song is called Union Station. Visitor says they're pretty good. Banana is my favorite flavor. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy them, Visitor. I just don't. I think I did at one point. That time has passed. Uh-oh. I got something in my eye. Dark Road asks, how do you feel, Omni, about the song Venomade? How do I feel about the song Venomade? Well, I didn't make that song. It is my song. I think I feel the same way about all of my songs, which is proud. Well, let me try to dig deeper for you, Dark Road, so that you're not getting the same old answer. How do I feel about Venomade? Can I get specific? Good morning, Liana. How do I feel about Venomade? Venomade. I feel... matured. When I made Venomade, I was feeling things that I no longer feel. So I feel matured, as if I've matured past it, or like graduated that particular feeling. Trying to come up with a good adjective. How do I feel about Venomade? I do feel proud of it though. Dark Girl, have you ever made something that was very, very topically inspired? Maybe you made something because you were in love, or maybe you made played something because you were mad, or maybe you said something because you were mad or in love or whatever, and then you have to go back and listen to the words that you said, and you feel distance from them. I feel distant from Venomade. But don't let that be confused with like shame or, um, I guess, disappointment. I am very, very much proud and still happy with that song. But the me that made that song is not who I am today. So I feel a healthy amount of distance from that song. Hmm. So I feel that same way about, I mean, basically anything that I made. When did Venomade come out? Like 2017? Yo, a lot of my songs that came out in 2017 are written in a very bad place, but are very fun to listen to now. Because I'm no longer in that bad place. But, I mean, life is cyclical, so I probably will be there again. Just an older me will be trampling through the tall grass. Leanna's talking about Haterade. This song is called Double Lights, which Leanna named. Leanna did practically write this song. I was just the thingies. I was just the tool for the inspiration. I wish Leanna could play this song. That would be fun for me. But then I'd probably slowly forget how to play it. Ooh, local tacos. I haven't had taco. 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 I haven't had taco in over a year. Well, maybe, yeah. It's been a long time since I've had a taco. It's just never my go-to thing from Mexican restaurants. I'm more of a burrito quesadilla person. I don't think I like open-faced things very much. I feel like tacos can be messy when compared with some of the other things that Mexican restaurant typically has. Hmm. Then Chipotle is for you, says Darko. I do not like Chipotle, actually. I don't like Chipotle. Nothing about Chipotle feels authentic to me. It feels like the subway of Mexican food. I don't really enjoy it very much. Chipotle can sometimes be like a last resort if I'm just really hungry and I need Mexican food and there's no other options around. But I'm not a big Chipotle fan. But I do like burritos, so you're right in one thing. Burritos are kind of my thing. The last restaurant I went to before lockdown was a taco place, says Mary. I want them again, but they don't deliver to my place. This is a sad story. You ever been to like a Taco Bell or something? Ah, I have been to a Taco Bell. I don't know if you were talking to me, Cyber, but I have been to a Taco Bell. I just don't order tacos from them. Usually, if I'm going to a Taco Bell, I'll get a quesadilla. But if I'm being honest, I usually don't go to Taco Bell. Taco Bell is like even further down the list than Chipotle as far as my things I resort to when I am in the mood for Mexican food. They can't roll a burrito, Liana. Thank you. Ugh. Oh, I'm not gonna get mad about that right now. I'm moving on. I'm moving on from that. But thank you for saying that, Liana. I'm not gonna talk about that. Taco Bell is never a sober decision for me, says Maddie. Okay, well, that makes sense. It's hailing also, says Maddie, which I guess also makes sense. I don't know. I was in the snow a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know what's happening where, but it is it's very chill here down in Los Angeles. This is the third day in a row that it's randomly hailed. I feel like if it hails 3 days in a row, then it's not random anymore. Is it just hail season? Is it hail week? I don't know what the forecast looks like in. Actually, I don't even know where you are, Batty. What, Midwest? No, don't say that. Are you in Portland? Your face makes me think of Portland for some reason, Maddie. And I don't want you to take that as an insult. I don't even know what that means myself. But I saw your face and I thought Pacific Northwest. Does it hail in the Pacific Northwest? Hey, Liana, does it hail in the Bay? Oh, Seattle. That's pretty funny. Whoa, you went to school in Portland? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that. I mean, I don't know what it means when I said I saw your face and I thought of a Pacific Northwesterner. I don't know what that is, but it rarely hails in the Bay. Interesting, Liana. Anyways, that song was named by Liana. It's called Double Lutz. Did I finish it? Yes, I finished it. This song has no name. It hath no name. Lindsay's not here, so I will not be playing Vanilla. But I'll play the song that came out of Vanilla, which I think it was Maddie that said should be called French Vanilla. I like that name. I don't necessarily like my song titles to share words, because then it'll confuse me and the listeners. But I'm leaning towards French Vanilla. I kind of like it. Maddie says, I think I definitely have the PNW look. What is that? I'm so glad you said that. What is that? What is the PNW look? What is the Pacific Northwest lady? What is a Pacific Northwest lady like? Paint me a profile. Fashion is a big part of this look for sure, says Maddie. Interesting. You know, when I've left the country on several occasions, people assume that I was from New York and not Los Angeles because of how I dress. Obviously, present, wardrobe excluded. This is whatever I slept in. Whatever you see me streaming is what I got out of bed in. Oh my dear, all songs are flavors of something, and the music explains its taste, says Starkrow. It's a good idea. That is something I probably would have done in 2016. I had like a weird thing with food, where all of my stuff was usually food referential, or the names, or like things like Bon Bon. Sugar glider. Sugar glider's an animal, but it sounded like food, so I used it. Yes, Jolly Pop. I was like more into candy, I guess, at the time, and then I moved to tea and things like that. I went to school. It was a liberal arts school and a lot of subculture and alternative groups. Hmm. Hmm. Sorry. I was playing a song. A song that might be named after food. And then, and then, Ooh. Ooh, I think I'm actually. I think the song's evolving, so that's good. Sorry, I haven't really been active in the chat. Um, what was that? birds are being pretty loud. A squirrel! There's a squirrel back. There's a squirrel here. It's back. Oh, never mind. A cat saw it and it's gone. Wow, it's weird. I feel like I'm looking into a rainforest now. With all the lack of people outside, it's animal season. I don't know if it's due to being trapped inside or if it's because it's spring, but I feel like I'm noticing birds a lot more. No, Liana, I'm noticing birds way more. Actually, I was out because I went to go get a piece of pizza. I went to go get a sliced pizza yesterday, and there was particularly sparrows everywhere. It was really odd. I'm used to seeing pigeons everywhere, but it was like all sorts of birds, not just pigeons. If anything, I couldn't find pigeons. Thank you, Maddie, for liking the song that I'm playing. Mm. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that. Pixel Piggy says, does anyone any sites? Does anyone maybe know? Does anyone know any sites where I can learn Japanese from? Want to visit and watch anime with no subtitles. Pixel Piggy. Well, I took Japanese in high school, which was a very, very good base, right? Um, Japanese has three alphabets. Um, hmm, hmm. Let me start over. So, right now, I usually spend anywhere between a 30 minutes to an hour on like Japanese Duolingo every day. It's usually like right when I wake up and I'm just laying in bed, or right when I'm about to go to bed and I'm not sleepy yet, and I'll just do some Duolingo before I go to bed. However, I will say that, okay, good, I'm glad that Leanna brought up the Duolingo app. The Duolingo app is good for like sentence structure and pronouncing things. However, writing and like actually understanding kanji versus hiragana and katakana and when to use them and what they mean and how they work grammatically, I think would have been very complicated in Duolingo had I not taken those classes beforehand. Oh, crap. Oh, weird. Hmm. Sorry, I don't know if you guys could hear that, but my phone was ringing. I don't know why someone was calling me. They may call back. That's my bad. They may call back. Um, crap. What was I talking about? I'm so sorry, guys. How unprofessional. I do have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so I don't know how that one like bled through. Maybe because it's Facebook. It's a Facebook call. Anyways, crap. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So when I'm taking Duolingo Japanese, I'm like putting together sentences and stuff like that. I'm doing the whole thing. I'm saying stuff. I'm whatever. The the problem though is I feel like there are a lot of things that are happening on Duolingo that are very confusing, but the only reason they don't confuse me is because I took several years of Japanese in high school. Whereas like hiragana the way it works, katakana the way that works, and kanji the way that works, and just weird sentence things. Sometimes things will happen in Duolingo that I'm like, oh, they did not explain that very well. Because for something like Duolingo, I'm spending a lot of time on Duolingo here, Pixel Piggy. I apologize if it's something that you don't know what that is, but it's like a phone app that's free that you can use to learn other languages. Duolingo, no matter what language you're learning, it doesn't talk to you. It doesn't explain things. Um, it doesn't say this is a verb. This is how you conjugate this. This is what this means. It kind of just you have to use the process of elimination and context clues, which one would argue is actually a pretty good way to learn a language. It is a good way to learn a language, but I think that there are a lot of, especially going from English into Japanese, there are a lot of very very strict and weird rules and guidelines that govern this other language. Hello, Bro Rose. And without understanding those, without somebody sitting you down explicitly telling you, hey, you're supposed to use this now and this later, and don't do this, and this is not the proper order. Some of these things can't be learned really, truly, comprehensively in the way that Duolingo sets out a foreign language. Um, if you think about something like verb conjugation is really important. Now, that is a bad example because you don't really conjugate verbs the same way in Japanese. Japanese has a whole, in my opinion, much easier way of conjugating verbs, but I won't really get into it. The point is, think about something like think about something like Spanish or French. I don't know if you know how to speak any of these languages, Pixel Picky, or even a little bit, but conjugating verbs. If you ever taken a foreign language class, usually they will have a verb conjugation chart where it's like, I eat, you eat, she eats, they eat, you eat, they eat, them eat. Point is, Duolingo doesn't do that. Pixel Picky. It doesn't do that. Sometimes it'll just say things and it won't really show you the conjugation of them, and that can be hard. I would say that Duolingo is a very very important and fun supplement to learning a language, but I would say that Duolingo is something that goes on top of other studying, not a supplement to taking lessons at all. That's my opinion of it. Um, like maybe Duolingo would be good if you also lived in Japan, so you're practicing at other places and then you're going home and you're on your phone or whatever and learning stuff that way. But Liana is recommending Memrise, which is a different thing that's also free, so that's good. Burroughs says, wait, I thought you said you were done with the streams after 100. I did not say that, Burroughs. I said that after 100 the stream would change. I'm starting to do production streams now that we're after 100. They're going to be more structured, and this production streams will not happen within Morning Medley um, um, as they have been. Because the production streams don't really have a name, Burroughs. They're just kind of tacked onto Morning Medley. Um, Maddie, okay. What helped me the most with Japanese was learning hiragana and katakana and practicing reading all the time, says Liana. Agreed. Agreed. I think, same for me. The thing is, learning other languages, right? Learning something like Spanish has its difficulties. Learning something like French has its difficulties. I would say that the biggest difficulty in French, I'll say French because I speak more French than I do Spanish, is pronunciation. You're not gonna get into French and then look at a letter most of the time and go like, what the heck is that? There are a few things that are like, what is that E attached to an O? There's a few times where there's a little letter that is confusing, but for the most part, their alphabet is Arabic, just like ours is. Um, sorry, Roman. Arabic is how numbers are. I apologize for that. They get confused in my head. They have Roman letters just like we do. We, being English speakers, have Roman letters. Asian languages, i.e., Korean, Japanese, Chinese, do not use the Roman alphabet. So while you're learning something in Spanish, maybe pronunciation might be a little bit different. But when somebody spells something, you can usually give it a pretty good go. You can give it an attempt. If somebody spells out like le vélo in French, which is bicycle, which is L-E space V-E-L-O. You can give it a good go. Even if you don't know any French, you would say, I don't know, levelo or levelo, which is bad pronunciation, but is the word, just poorly pronounced. Now going into something like Korean, Japanese, or Chinese, you're not even going to be able to make an attempt because there's not going to be any Roman letters to help you. You have to learn a new alphabet. And so while each language has its difficulties, I feel like the main difficulty in Japanese is just learning the alphabet. I've been learning Japanese actively for 3 years, passively for, I don't know, far longer, 5 or 6 years. And I don't even know the entire alphabet. I'm talking about kanji. I know hiragana and katakana; those are fine. But kanji, it's still a lot. So maybe that's an important thing to say, Pixel Picky. Even after spending a long time in Japanese, I don't know all of the kanji. I wouldn't even say that I'm confident in half of the kanji. Um, so I guess it's also setting expectations reasonably. Um, now, now, I only know the most basic kanji, says Liana. I'm right there with you, Liana. It's like, yo, that's water. That means man. That means book. But the point I'm making, Pixel Piggy, is that I am pretty decent at Japanese, but that it's because of a lot of things. It's because of I took it for years in high school. Also, I've spent time in Japan, not an extended period of time, mind you. I wasn't there for months. I was there for weeks. But when I was there, you will be surprised, Pixel Piggy. Even if you're learning a little bit on Duolingo, you'll be surprised where if you're in Japan, especially if you have friends in Japan that you're hanging out with every day and talking with them, you will improve so fast. I mean, immersion. Never underestimate immersion. That's not just for Japanese. That's for any language. But I think that um, when I went to Japan, especially the first time when I was on tour, I wasn't with anybody that could speak English. So the only time I spoke English was when I was like speaking into my Instagram story, I guess. And I wasn't posting a lot of vlog style Instagram stories while I was there. So it was like I woke up, I was speaking Japanese to strangers, and I was speaking Japanese to people that worked in shops that I was at. Then I was speaking Japanese to my friends, and I gradually got faster and was able to understand and comprehend stuff a little bit better. Looking at anime, um, I hate that I even said that out loud. It's like I hate that as a soundbite is me like going, looking at anime, but like watching anime, watching foreign Japanese films with subtitles and not dubbed. Doing Duolingo, doing like flashcards, taking classes or courses in high school or college. Those all help, but all of them pale in comparison to being in Japan and having to speak with people. Immersion is huge because yeah, I can look at all the anime I want, which isn't much to be fair, but I can look at all the anime I want. But it's just you can look at anime for an hour, but that is not going to be nearly as beneficial as going to a 7-Eleven in Japan and having a successful conversation that lasts 20 seconds with a stranger. Immersion is key. So, I don't know what your plans are, Pixel Piggy, for Japan, but there are several tools, resources. Liana recommends Memorize and Duolingo. I recommend Duolingo and some type of actual coursework. Um, and then when you go there, you're like, you want to be able to go there and speak the language and watch anime without subtitles. Yeah, these things are achievable. These things are doable. I learned a couple of years of German, says Maddie, in college. And then I went to Germany. I barely got to use it because they all spoke English to me. See, okay, so Maddie, we're getting into the grits, and we're at an hour. We're getting into the grits after the stream's technically supposed to end. Um, Yo, I just had the wildest like PTSD moment, so that's cool. My skin's crawling. Okay, what it, what was I? Okay, Maddie. Sorry, Maddie. I had something to say to you. Maddie says they just spoke English to you. Now, when I was in Japan, there were several times where, and this is a big complaint about Japan in general, where it's like if you walk into a Japanese establishment, you don't look obviously Japanese, and you speak Japanese to them, they will speak English back to you. Sometimes they do it to try to make things easier for you. Sometimes they do it because they don't like you and they don't want to speak Japanese to you. Sometimes it's a racism thing. Whatever. But it does happen. The only reason I would say that I spoke as much Japanese as I did in Japan is because I'm super stubborn. And so if I spoke Japanese to somebody and they spoke English back to me, I would still struggle through my baby Japanese to them because I'm not going to learn otherwise. Also, a lot of my friends um, just can't speak English, which is wild to me. It's not. Hmm, I don't want to spend that much time here, but it's not wild to me that somebody can't speak two languages. That's not what's wild. It's just wild to me that somebody in Japan can't speak English when there's so much English just in Japan, on street signs, on books, on their video games. In fact, this is a Yamaha keyboard, right? They only make this type, so you can't see it because of the angle. But if you look at this keyboard, there's English all over. It's like song, main demo, master volume, demo BGM, recording, lesson start, song, style, etc., etc., etc. If you go to Japan and you buy the same keyboard from Yamaha, again, a Japanese company, it's still all going to be in English. They don't like they don't make this keyboard and then they have it in Spanish and have it in French and then they ship it out to a bunch of different countries. Like if you buy a lot of times a keyboard or if you're working in Ableton or a DAW, most of the time you're just going to have to deal with English. And so it's sometimes um, interesting for me when I go to Japan and I'm looking around and I see so much English. I see so many Romanized things. I see, McDonald's for one. I see stuff that is English. You go inside McDonald's and things aren't English. Sometimes. There are some things that are not in English. But my point is, there's English everywhere there, and there will be people that don't speak any English. Now, some can say the same thing about the southwest of the U.S. If you come to the southwest, there's a lot of Spanish. There's a lot of Spanish just mixed into English anyway. There are a lot of things we say every day that are Spanish words. Um, the highway that even brings me to the area of LA that I live in is called the Arroyo Seco Highway. And I know that's poor pronunciation, but I also know that that's not English. Um, there's a lot of Spanish here, but people still can't speak Spanish. And so it's always interesting for me to go to another country where there is a very prominent second language, usually it's English, being just projected everywhere, but people will look at it and be able to like read that off of memorization. Like people in Japan maybe won't be able to read any English, but they can look at a McDonald's sign and go like, "Oh, McDonald's," because they'll see like the big golden arches, and I'm like, that's so interesting because I can't think of anything like that specifically for Japanese that we do here in America. We do here in the United States specifically. There's something like Yoshinoya, but it's spelled in Roman characters, you know. I'm trying to think if there's anything like that. No, there's nothing really like that. Or it's just like kanji, and we all have just seen it so many times that we go off of memorization. Hmm. Now, there are things that like okay, wow, I'm not gonna make this stream go too long, I promise. But there are things you can mostly guess the English words reading katakana. True. Very, very true. So there are a few things, right, that are interesting because we say them a lot in Spanish or in French, and we're like, I don't know what that means. For example, cul-de-sac. I live in a cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac in French is pronounced cul-de-sac, and it means like the end of the bag. Usually, like when you've run out of chips, like the crumbs, so like that cul-de-sac. Like it's like run out of bags, and when you run out of chips in a bag. Now, obviously, that is where we got the name for cul-de-sac in the United States. So we are speaking French, or at least saying a French term every time we say cul-de-sac, but we don't really know what it means. We just have an association to it as, oh, it just means it's like a dead end. It's the end of a street that does the little circle thing. Now, um, there are things like, okay, so in Japanese, you can't count things. When you count, you have a different system for counting things. Ugh. I'm sorry, guys. I know. This sucks. I don't want to make this a Japanese lesson, but in English, you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can say 1 pizza, 2 pizzas, 3 pizzas, 4 pizzas, 5 pizzas, 1 car, 2 car, 3. You just say the number and then you add the object afterwards. Japanese is not like this. For example, you would say like ichi ni san is 1, 2, 3, ichi ni san. But if you were counting, let's say, um, chairs, isu, you wouldn't say ichi isu or isu ichi. You would say futotsu, which is counting chairs, futotsu, futatsu, mitsu, yotsu, instead of ichi ni san, shi, go, futotsu, futatsu. It's very complicated and unnecessarily so. But when you count 3 things, if I say there's like 3 tables over there, like, tables would be mitsu, if there was 3 of them, right? Table ga mitsu arimasu. Mitsu, 3. Table mitsu arimasu. 3 tables. Mitsu, if you think of Mitsu is also in a car brand called Mitsubishi. We say Mitsubishi all the time. Bishi means diamond. And if you look at the Mitsubishi logo, it's 3 diamonds arranged. So we look at 3 diamonds all the time and go, Mitsubishi. And we say with our non-Japanese speaking mouths, 3 diamonds. Ah, yes, 3 diamond car. So we know what it is, but we just don't know what it means, much like cul-de-sac. I don't know why I got here. I don't know how I got here. But I'm here. Maybe you learned something. Mitsubishi means 3 diamonds. It's not off topic. It's music language. Oh, it's music language. That's pixel piggy. Oh, that's funny. Okay. I love learning about this, says Maddie. Hmm. Do you have any tips for people that are starting to learn sheet music and piano? Says Swishy's dump. Swishy's dump. Swishy, I'm so sorry that it took me this long to see your question. I got kind of off on a thing. I got distracted. Um, any lesson or any any tips for someone that's starting to learn sheet music and piano? These two things, Swishy's dump. I hope I'm not telling you something that's so obvious, but these two things are separate but supplemental, right? Playing piano and then learning sheet music, it might make sheet music make a little bit more sense. Learning sheet music and then playing piano, it might make piano make a lot more sense. But don't make the mistake of thinking that these two things are in any way required to learn the other. There are a lot of people who play flute that know how to read sheet music, that don't know how to play piano, and there are a lot of people like me who play piano for years and do not know how to read sheet music. I don't know how to read sheet music, so your foray into learning how to do so, I can't really advise you on or give you any tips. But when learning any new thing, I would say that persistence is key. So if it doesn't make sense at first, just stick with it, please. And it probably will start to make sense at some point. Be patient with yourself. As far as piano, though, I would say spend a lot of time on piano. A lot of people think that just because you're sitting at a piano, it needs to be you need to be getting better, you need to be improving, you need to be able to play Beethoven or whatever it is that people want to play nowadays. But I think that in general, Swishy, if you're just sitting at a piano and you're just going like this, it might not seem like you're improving, but you are. You are. I think that people are just so impatient nowadays that they want to skip that level and they just want to go straight from I don't know what the black keys are from the white keys to playing like a Mozart song. I think even when I'm in the stream and I'm talking to you guys, every now and then I'll just hit random chords. These are exercises. I don't know if you guys notice this. These are exercises. This isn't just me making noise so that it's hard to hear me. Having a piano in front of you for an extended period of time and just getting your fingers used to traveling around the keyboard, it's going to make your learning easier down the road. You're going to understand certain like key spacings and why they happen. You're going to learn certain chords and why they're very easy to hit or why they're very difficult to hit. And you're going to be able to take songs like this and move it down just because your hands are very used to the topography, for lack of a better term, of the piano. Get to know an instrument. Get intimate with an instrument because you can know all of the mathematical formulas to figuring out how to transpose a song up a key or whatever. But if you're not comfortable physically with the instrument, it's going to mean absolutely nothing. All right, guys, I released a new song called "The View." I wrote that song about someone I don't like anymore, but I did like them at the time, and I wrote a song about them. It's called "The View." It's out now on Bandcamp, and Spotify, etc. Um, when will you stream 100 song? When do you release stream 100 songs? Says Dark Row. Dark Row, there are no. Oh, I'm actually in the news. So let me finish the news, Dark Row. I'm gonna answer your question in the news. That song is new. I also have two new releases. One, or my two latest releases. One called Ego Death. The other one called Quick Breath. Please check them out. I worked really hard on them. Ego Death is more ambient, more experimental, while Quick Breath is just a little bit more danceable, dancey, upbeat. A lot of vocals by me in them. Those all can be found on Bandcamp. They can be found on SoundCloud. They can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play. You know what? I actually. So I have a Google phone. Sorry, I apologize for the I don't know detour. I have a Google phone, and I went through like Google Music, and apparently, apparently I purchased an Elton John album like in sometime in 2017. I don't remember doing this. And all this time I was like, I don't use Google Play, so tell me if Google Play's good. I guess I did, or at least I actually spent money on Google Play Music. So there's that. I actually do know what that is now. I'm making my way through them, guys. I'm going to use Tidal eventually, too. Anyways, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube are the platforms that my music exists on. I also upload videos semi-regularly on YouTube outside of my streams. The last one was called Honeydew. Quarantine #1. I'm going to have just little songs and ideas that I post from things I'm writing while I'm in quarantine. There is kind of this funny real estate thing where I feel like I was doing like, these types of videos for a while. There was a few of us. It's like me, Harrison. I guess the count was 1, 2, where we were kind of just doing like little videos of us making music. Now I feel like with quarantine, every single person I know is making videos like this, and I feel like the pool is full. I feel like I was swimming in the pool with my friends, and then I feel like spring break happened, and all these people jumped in with their inner tubes and their floaties and stuff, and now I don't even know if I want to swim anymore. It feels weird making and posting these videos when there's like a million people doing the exact same thing. But here I am, doing it anyway. Now, as far as song releases and shows and merch, there aren't any songs scheduled for release right now. That's bullet point #1. Bullet point #2, there's no shows scheduled to be played now because we're in quarantine and it's really hard to book and schedule a tour when you're in quarantine. I see a lot of people doing, a lot of people were like, oh, sorry, my spring break tour has been pushed back to June. Or, sorry, my June tour has been pushed back. We're rescheduling for October. And I think maybe that's smart to get out ahead of things. But for me, I don't really know when things are going to be cool again. I don't know if October is the magic month where all of a sudden festivals can happen again. I don't know if clubs are going to be open again in June. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even feasibly fly out, because right now I can't fly out of the country. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fly to Korea or Japan or whatever by summer. So I'm just not going to say anything until I see stuff change. I think it's a dangerous game to play where I just start throwing out random dates because that's when I think everything should be fine by. That's when I think the pandemic should be under control in the US by. I just don't know. I don't know. So, to answer your question, Dark Road, no, there's no, the 100 stream song doesn't have a release date. Because here's how it goes, and I do try to keep you guys included as much as possible on like the creative process and how things work. Um, yeah, true, Liana. Very, very true. Very true. Dark Road, here's how it works. I come up with an idea for a song. The 100th stream was a few days ago. Let's say it was a whole week ago. I came up with that idea while in the 100th stream. Dark Row. And if you've looked at my past releases, Dark Row, it's like, actually, Dark Row, what's an album? An album. I'm using that term very loosely. What's a collection of work or an album or an EP that you've heard by me, Dark Row? That is my question to you. Everything at once, everything at once. That was an accident. Oh, I can't get distracted. That is really cool though. Any luck with OBS streaming? I do my first test stream today, Cyber. Dark Rose says this 2016 one. Okay. I don't know what you mean, Dark Rose, because I released 2 albums in 2016, so I'm just going to assume you mean Love Dream. Or Speed Dream. So, Love Dream. When I made Love Dream, there was a lot of steps along the way. And this is why... Oh, you were talking about Nice Dream. Okay, so... neither are the ones I was talking about. If you listen to Nice Dream, there's several tracks on Nice Dream. There's Bon Bon, Sugar Glider, Downtown Drizzle, Jolly Pop, and there's one more I'm forgetting. Bubblebee. So if you listen to Nice Dream, there's several songs on Nice Dream. Those songs were not brand new when they came out, right? People thought that they were brand new because I wasn't streaming and they weren't watching me make them. When I release music, the way I release it, Dark Road, is I work on songs for days, weeks, months, in some cases years, but that's pretty rare. So let's just take that one out. Days, weeks, and months is how long I typically spend on writing music. Now, you saw me start a song in a stream last week. You didn't see me finish a song. And kind of like how we were talking about touring Dark Road, I'm not scheduling tour dates because I don't know when it's going to be possible again. I don't set release dates for songs that I don't know when/if I'm going to finish, right? The song from stream number 100 is a fun song and I had a lot of fun making it, but it's not even halfway done. So I can't say a release date for it. I can't say a release date for it at all. In the same way, I mean, you can't say when dinner's going to be ready if you're not even home and you don't have the ingredients and you haven't made dinner yet. It's just, I mean, you can, but you might let people down. So Dark Row, if I tell you that that song's coming out on April 15th, you're going to be waiting for it on April 15th, and I'm going to have to rush and try to slap a song together, and it might not sound good, Dark Row. So, it's a very long and involved way of saying there is no release date. The reason I'm taking this long and involved way is because, again, I'm trying to keep you guys, specifically you guys in the stream, because all things considered, you guys are a very small and important, but very small sample size of my audience/fan base, right? There's typically anywhere from 10 to 20 people in these streams, and I have a lot more than 10 to 20 fans. So the I don't know, 97, 99% of my fans that aren't seeing this really have no idea that I'm even working on new music. As far as they're concerned, Omni's just on hiatus, I guess. I try to include you guys, since you guys make the effort to come in here every day, try to include you guys on exactly what's happening, why there aren't shows, how long a song takes to make. You guys will see on the stream where I'll accidentally hit something and you'll see how long it takes for that to actually become a song. For example, the song right now, that French Vanilla song, that came from accidentally messing up while playing Vanilla. This one? That song, I accidentally stumbled upon earlier this week. And it has grown, right? I have a second part to it. I'm growing a third part to it. We haven't named it. I haven't recorded it. I'm not even happy completely with the way that it sounds yet. Songs do take a pretty long time. And some of you that were maybe a little bit older in the stream meaning having been here longer, like Cyber, has seen some of the songs from Quick Breath come about. People, for example, that remember the song Not on My Watch. Wait, crap, now I'm just playing Boss of Fire. No, Not on My Watch is very similar. Now, when I played that, and I uploaded that video, is 2017. It was 2017 when I uploaded that video, and everybody said, when is Dizzy Duck coming out? Because that song was at the time called Dizzy Duck, or at least that video was. That song finally came out with me at Gladstone last year in 2019. I released it. Now, that song was in the incubator for 2 years because it kept changing it, improving it, putting different vocalists on it. It took a long time. The Ehi song, some of you guys saw when me and Ehi first hung out at my house and we were working on music, and it took 2 years for that song to come out too. Sometimes, Dark Road, music takes a lot longer than people think it does. People tend to think that when I go and then I record that video and I put that on Twitter, they'll go, oh, put this on Spotify. because they don't realize that Dark Road, there are at least 12 steps between and Spotify streaming. There's recording. For example, nothing I've played in this stream is recorded in MP3 form. You know, they're not thinking about mixing and mastering, which is why I do the production streams to kind of try to show you guys, Dark Row, you included, that there's more happening than just play, record, release. It's a lot of play, record, mix, master, rearrange, rename, rearrange, rearrange, orchestrate, record again, mix it again, master it again, get levels right again, rearrange, schedule a release, get art commissioned for the cover for the thing, get album art, get a release, get a show booked so that I actually have a release show so that I can help promote it, make videos to promote the thing, send the thing out to people so that hopefully the thing is supported at all, learn how to play the thing live and actually come up with a rig so that I can have a live version of the song. Like, for example, if you've seen me before, you've seen the live version of Sleep In, I have to play these songs live. I can't just go, well, I could, but I don't just go in front of an audience and I press play on my songs. I do have to have a live aspect of it. So then I have a live version of the song that I'm playing. And then I have to work out splits because a lot of songs like Not On My Watch have other artists involved, and I have to work out royalty splits. Every time you listen to my song Not On My Watch on Spotify, it doesn't just pay me, it pays money to Spotify also. It also pays money to the distributor, and it pays money to me at Gladstone, and that's a lot of paperwork, and it's a lot of waiting. And so making a song from idea to now you can stream it on Spotify, Dark Road, takes much longer than a week. And that's why I include you guys on the process, so hopefully you guys can see that. And that is why the song from the 100th stream doesn't have a release date. It's not even finished, I don't even know if I'm going to release it, So there's that. Maddie says, my professor in my electronic music class used to say that you could spend hours putting together a song and days of mixing and master it, or something like that, basically emphasizing the amount of time it is to finish a song. Yeah. I would say that if there is... Ooh, this is fun. I've wasted a lot of time here, but I would say that if a song... If releasing a song... Goodbye, Liana. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that I was able to play your song for you. I didn't forget. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It is Wednesday, indeed. I would say that if making and releasing a song, Maddie, is, and Dark Row, and everybody else in the stream, if making and releasing a song is a cake, making the song is putting flour and egg into a bowl and beating it. That is how far you are in the process. If you have made something, it's like, ooh, I have made love letters. All that is flour and eggs for the cake. There are no other ingredients in the bowl. You have not preheated the oven. You have not actually baked the cake. You have not decorated the cake. You have not cut the cake. You have not placed the cake on a plate. All you have done is put flour and eggs in a bowl. And so I feel like a lot of people don't know that. And so a lot of people will see my flour and eggs and they'll say, oh, sick. What time is this baby going to be done? I'm hungry. And I have to embarrassingly say to them, I don't know. I don't even know if this is going to be a cake at this point. This could be anything. This could be a waffle. As far as the ingredients in this bowl, it could be a waffle. Also, I could end up burning the cake. I don't know. I could end up changing my mind. It could be bad. I don't know. It could end up being a chocolate cake. I don't know, Dark Row, because it's just so early. And making the song is, yeah, it's just flour and eggs. It's just flour and eggs. I would argue that I used to have this argument in any freelance artist. There's other freelance artists in here. There's other artists, period, in here. So this will make sense. But I always made the argument that as an artist, you have to do so many things that people don't understand. Because a lot of people think that it is just the art. People think that if you're an animator, all you got to do is animate. People think that if you're an illustrator, all you have to do is illustrate. People think that if you're a composer, all you have to do is compose. But unfortunately, for every artist, especially now in the freelance and social media era, you kind of have to be able to do a lot of things that you shouldn't really have to be able to do, or shouldn't have to know how to do. For example, I'm a piano player by a lot of people's definition, but I know how to do a lot more than play piano. I know how to produce. Just being able to use Fruity Loops, that program that you see me using the thing, is not a piano player's job. Playing piano and being able to produce and program drums and mix and master and arrange and subtractive synthesize and all of that stuff is like, those are other jobs. There are some people that only synthesize. There's some people that only do sound design. There's some people that only program drums, only make beats, only mix songs, only master songs, only promote songs, only release songs, only distribute songs. But if you're a freelance artist, you have to get pretty good at being able to do all 12 of those jobs. You have to be your own manager. You have to know how to post engaging or interesting content. You have to be, like, for my example, you have to be able to be somewhat engaging for an hour on a stream. Um, some people maybe don't want to stream. Some people maybe are they're socially awkward or anxious and they wouldn't feel comfortable being on camera in front of strangers for an extended period of time. My point is, art and the creation and promotion and release of it are pretty mystified, I feel like, in our society. And I'm trying to slowly but surely demystify it to whoever cares to listen or watch. I want to show you guys that it's not magic, it's just work. And hopefully that makes it more attainable to you. Maybe if you guys think, oh, Omni, I don't understand music. You're so lucky. You're so lucky. I wish that I could make music. Oh, you're so good at this thing. I'm trying to also demystify that so people understand, like, I'm not that good. I'm just like a person that cares about a thing. Just like somebody with that's baking cakes. They're not magically gifted at baking cakes better than you are. They're passionate about the thing. They enjoy doing it. And so I'm trying to demystify it that way so that you guys don't think it's magic, and put it up on a pedestal. But I'm also trying to demystify it so you don't think it's magic and don't put it on this, oh, that's super easy. You put it on Instagram. How come it's not on Spotify for streaming? I'm trying to show people that. I used to spend a lot of time telling people why a Justin Bieber remix that I put up on Twitter can't be on Spotify because people didn't understand how copyright law worked. And people thought, hey, if I play a song with Drake's vocals over it, shouldn't I be able to put it on Spotify? And it took me months and months to try to get the word out there that, hey guys, there are laws, and I don't want to break them. I feel like I've spent enough time on this, and I also feel like we went over the news already, so I can probably just go right into hot shower. I'm sorry about all the lack of news and the lack of shows and the lack of song releases. If that is something that is disappointing to you, I feel like everybody's dealing with their quarantine in their own way, and they're having all kinds of issues and difficulties. So most people aren't really looking for me anyway. But if you are and you're disappointed by how difficult I've been to find as far as activity, I do apologize for that. I just don't know what to do right now. Right now, in general, in life. Word up, Maddie. Word up, Maddie. We used to have like little bellyache streams on Instagram. Just me and other artists would have bellyache streams where we complained about all the gripes of an artist, and one by one, people who weren't artists would leave because either they didn't understand the gripes or they were like, these artists are just whining about stupid stuff. But so I try not to do that in the stream too often. I try to make it more of a communication and education than a belly aching and complaining. But I am always appreciative of other artists in the stream because I do feel understood on a level that maybe I'm not by non-artists. I don't want to say normies. I say normies a lot, and some people get really offended by the term normie. But like Hillbilly, remember yesterday's stream? Anyways, that is it for the stream, guys. Thank you so much for being respectful to me and polite to each other. It is the internet, and I know that's hard to do. I am doing a test production stream today. It's going to get deleted as soon as I finish it. It's not going to be a long thing. I'm just going to be testing to make sure like audio, visual, and all that stuff works. That's all I'm doing. So if you see or if you get a notification that I have gone live on YouTube, that's all I'm doing. Don't worry about it if you miss it. I probably won't even be making music. I'm just going to be testing stuff. And that's going to be sometime today. I don't know, sometime in the afternoon probably. Um, Yes. Normie. Aww. Yeah, word up. I mean, I only call people normies usually when I'm trying to be insulting to them. If it's my friends. I think that I'm a normie in some things. Maybe we can make next stream about normies. Next stream we're talking about normies. 106? 106 in Park? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Is that a joke? Guys, is that a joke? Hold on. I can't let it. I mean, I can always make the joke tomorrow. 106 in Park is a thing, right? Oh. Darko, are you saying BET because it was on the BET network, or are you just saying bet? It was a show. I'm a genius. Okay. Alright, guys. That's going to do it for stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the 106 in Park stream. Oh, that's so sweet. Look, guys, I made a joke before 109. Oh, my God. Okay. I have a wordy Wednesday. Oh, have a wordy Wednesday, everyone. Yes, let's all hope we can. Thank you, Dark Row, for knowing it's BET. Abo, everybody.